Welcome to Read Will You Grow TV, a place where kids and families come together to strengthen their faith, grow in confidence, and build a life rooted in Jesus Christ. We are so glad you're here. Last week we talked about the true foundation of faith, Jesus, our rock on which we build our lives. We also talked about Him not just being a distant figure, but a living, unshakable God who's present, who answers, and how in Him everything holds together. If you missed last week's episode, don't worry, you'll find the link in the description. I will also link it to the end of the video. So this week we're going to talk about knowing Jesus, the key to bold and confident faith. So settle in and let's get to know how to build a faith for our children that's not just strong, but unbreakable and unmovable. I read a fascinating story the other day, and it reminded me of how easily we can overlook true value.
It was about a man who visited a flea market, just browsing, not expecting to find anything life-changing. But something caught his eye, an old picture frame. The painting itself wasn't impressive, but the frame had character. And for just $4, he figured it was worth taking home. When he got home, he attempted to remove the painting from the frame. To his surprise, the frame crumbled apart in his hands. But something unexpected happened. Tucked behind the old painting was a folded piece of parchment. He carefully unfolded it, revealing what looked like a copy of the Declaration of Independence. At first he assumed it was a replica, the kind you might find at a souvenir shop. But something about it seemed different. He set it aside and after some time mentioned it to a friend who encouraged him to get it appraised. That decision changed everything. Experts confirmed that it was one of the only 24 known copies printed by the Continental Congress on the night of July 4th, 1776. Only 3 were still in circulation. This document hidden behind a worthless painting was worth $2.4 million. A piece of history tossed aside as junk turned out to be a priceless treasure.
Let's think about this in terms of our family and faith. How often do we truly find things of true value that we don't really pay attention to? And how often do we value things that are actually just fleeting?
This reminds me of Paul's words in Philippians 3:8. Indeed, I count everything as loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Jesus Christ, my Lord. For His sake I have suffered the loss of all things and count them as rubbish, in order that I may gain Christ. Paul had once valued status, religious achievements, and earthly success. But once he encountered Jesus, everything else seemed like garbage in comparison.
Just as the flea market, what turned out to be hidden treasure, history has also shown us the opposite. What was valued turned out to be fake.
Between 1915 and 1921, the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art proudly displayed what they believed were rare Etruscan warrior statues. For decades, these pieces were admired as priceless artifacts of history, until in 1960, tests revealed they were fakes. The supposedly ancient statues contained modern chemicals that didn't exist in ancient times. The museum had spent millions acquiring and preserving these pieces, only to find out that their treasure was worthless.
How often does this happen in life? People pour out their time, effort, and energy into money, possessions, status, social media, thinking they are going to receive true joy, but in the end realizing it's all just an illusion. Because to attain true joy and true inner peace, it has to be derived from its source, Jesus. As parents, we have the incredible opportunity to teach our children what really matters.
Are we chasing after temporary things or investing in eternal treasures? Are we teaching our kids to value what the world praises or what God esteems? Are we prioritizing our relationship with Jesus over fleeting success?
Our children must know Jesus personally, and so should we. In John 17:3, that they may know you, the one true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. Sometimes we dismiss the priceless things as ordinary, like praying with our children, praying as a family, singing worship together, reading a chapter or two from the Bible together, discussing the stories, the life, watching movies that edify, or programs that edify your soul. Sometimes we forget that these things are actually priceless and that will add to who we become, who our children become.
Jesus is our healer. Matthew 4:23 says, Jesus went through Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and sickness among the people. Jesus healed the blind, the sick, and even raised the dead. He still heals today. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And He can heal every physical, emotional, and spiritual need. Jesus is our provider. Matthew 14:13-21 says, Jesus fed 5,000 people with only 5 loaves and 2 fish. He provides not just food, but everything we need and our children will need. Peace, strength, wisdom, guidance, and so much more. Jesus is our protector. Mark 5:1-20. Jesus cast out demons from a possessed man, proving that He has authority over darkness. No evil can stand against Him. And when our children trust in Jesus, they will understand that they are under His protection. Jesus, our deliverer. John 8:3-11. Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her. A woman caught in sin was dragged before Jesus to be condemned. The crowd wanted to stone her, but Jesus turned the situation around. Instead of condemning her, He offered forgiveness and freedom. Jesus is all-powerful. Mark 4:39. Then He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. Jesus commands the storms. He also calms the storms in our lives. Jesus is love. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son. His sacrifice on the cross was the ultimate act of love. Jesus is our salvation. Acts 4:12. Salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we must be saved. Jesus didn't just come to teach, heal, or lead. He came to save us. Jesus is God. Matthew 28:6. He is not here, He has risen, just as He said. His resurrection proves that He is not just a man, He is God Himself.
Studies show that the strongest relationships are built on trust, communication, and consistency. We are creatures of habit, and good habits help build good, strong character and bring success, not just in life, but in faith as well. So it is our job to help our children develop these habits that will become a part of their lives, that will empower them and edify them. Psychologists say that children develop secure emotional attachments when they feel loved, safe, and heard. It is the same with their spiritual relationship with Jesus. The more time they spend in His presence in prayer, the more time they spend in His Word, the more He speaks to them, the more they see His miracles, His actions come to pass in their lives, the more their faith develops and the stronger they grow in knowing the Lord. Research indicates that children who participated in regular prayer, worship, and also had a personal relationship with Jesus showed signs of notable psychological and emotional benefits compared to their peers who did not.
Enhanced mental health and well-being, reduced risk of depression, higher life satisfaction, improved coping mechanisms and resilience, stress management, problem-solving skills, positive social and familial relationships, family unity, forgiveness and emotional processing, lower incidence of risk behaviors, reduced substance abuse, greater overall happiness, increased happiness.
In summary, fostering a personal relationship with Jesus through worship, prayer, and fellowship can significantly promote the psychological and emotional well-being of a child, their mental health, resilience, and overall well-being. Knowing Jesus isn't just a momentary experience, but a lifelong one. And the deeper our children grow in prayer, in conversation with Him, or waiting in His presence, the stronger they will get, and the more they will know about Jesus and watch His love and His promises unfold in their lives. As parents, we have the responsibility to lead our children to Jesus. But more than that, we have to show them what it means to walk with Him daily. So this week, I want to encourage you in a challenge. One is to pray with your kids every day, morning and night, 5 minutes. And 2, to read a chapter from the New Testament together. Let your children ask you questions. Maybe you'll learn something more. I learn every day. I feel like you can never stop learning from the Bible. The Lord gives you so many different revelations as you read. And it'll be a beautiful time of bonding. One that will truly, truly matter and edify the both of you. Next week in part 3, we'll talk about the power of truly knowing Jesus. And don't forget that you have a free study guide and printable in the description. Don't forget to download it. Before we go, Father, I give everyone under my voice into your mighty, awesome hands. Thank you for bringing the people here today. Thank you for speaking to them. I pray that you will do a new thing in their hearts. I pray that you will lead them in a path filled with your righteousness, filled with your wisdom, that you will give them the strength to help them to walk this walk with their children. That not only their children be edified, but they themselves. I thank you. Guard them, protect them, and lead them, and watch over them all the days of their lives. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Take care. I'll see you again next week.